Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back, everybody. There's a phrase that you might have heard. It's survive or thrive. Survive or thrive. And if you're good with just surviving, i.e. getting by, well, no judgment. That's good for you. There are some of us that want to thrive and want to be the best that we truly can be. Not really sure, some of us, how to attain that. How can you become the best version of yourself, for your family, for your profession, all of that? When you hit those plateaus, life does change. It's quite remarkable. He wrote the book about it, How to Become the Best Version of Yourself. He coaches people on this all the time, and we're going to connect with him once again. He is Reggie Bullock, and he's back on the program. How you doing today?
I'm well, Steve. Thanks for having me back. Appreciate it.
This brings up lots of questions in my mind, and I thought they would be easy to answer, but why don't we start at the core? What is the best version of yourself? How do you know when you've attained the best version? Because we're not saying become a better version of yourself, become the best. How do you know it is the best? How do you know I hit it? I nailed it.
Yeah, so you have to go through a lot of versions. You have to know yourself. A lot of self-awareness occurs. And you mentioned earlier, there are stages that you go through. All right. I coach people and I coach people in their 20s. And I say, you haven't lived long enough to make enough mistakes to learn from those mistakes to understand what you're going to be doing in your 40s and 50s. You know, and for some that are lucky to still be around this planet, 60s and 70s. And so how do you know when you are the best version of yourself? It's when you'll know when you've arrived, because you will have done so much and you'll be able to just kind of sit back and now do nothing, because there's not much more left for you to do.
Wow.
In terms of working on yourself, you know, that's where the work begins, right? And so you will be honest with the things that you become self-aware, and then you'll become transparent because you almost don't care anymore. You're there. You've reached Maslow's theory hierarchy, talks about self-actualization. So you have transitioned so many times that when you arrive, excuse me, I'm gonna drink some water, you'll know that you know.
I was just going to say that. It's like you're a mind reader as well. I was going to ask you, will you know when you know? And apparently you will. And it's so funny. I make commitments to myself, and, you know, I'll create my goals. And the last time I did it, it was, I called it Steve Beast Mode 2.0. So that's the next version of myself. And I'm sure, like you said, there's going to be another one until you attain what you feel will be the best version of yourself. But yeah, I guess you know when you're there, where you can take your foot off the gas and say, yeah, all right, you know, I'm good. That doesn't mean that you're not working hard and you're not still working on yourself. Let's say going to the gym as well. You know, it's not like you say, yeah, you know, I'm going to eat pizza for a week. I'm good now. No, you look at yourself from afar. I guess maybe that's what it is.
You know, it's like Mario Brothers. There are different levels that you have to go through. And in order to get to the next level, you first have to master the level that you're at.
Right.
And then you don't even know your capabilities for the next level that you're about to go to, because you don't even know what it looks like until you've mastered the level that you're at. And after you've made so many different transitions or versions of yourself, version 2.0, version 3.0, version 4.0, and now you're at that level where you have mastered so much about yourself, and you're content with yourself, and you're good at being you, that thing that you do. You know, it's like the difference between being a white belt and a third-degree black belt, right? And so you have walked that journey and you've earned the right. And now you are at the best version of yourself. But the title of the book here is actually Becoming the Best Version of Yourself. So the becoming piece instead of became is when you've achieved it. Muhammad Ali became the best version of himself. He's no longer here, but he became the best version. But the becoming piece is that it is a journey, and you're always on that journey of becoming. But that's a conscious journey as opposed to your point, you are, you're just kind of just existing, right? You're surviving instead of thriving.
Yeah.
So the thriving piece requires you to be actively achieving. The surviving piece is, I caught one fish, I'm good, I can eat, right? But the thriving is, no, I need them in the freezer, right? And so to that end, you're becoming. So it is a journey.
Would you say that you haven't gotten there yet because you're still hungry? I need more. I need more.
Yeah. When you're still hungry, you're still becoming.
Yeah.
There's more out there. Liza Minnelli, right? Liza Minnelli hit so many pinnacles. I mean, I think she was the daughter of Judy Garland, right? And so the point is, she was already in many people's cases where she needed to be, but she was always hungry, always perfecting her craft. Beyonce, the same thing. One could say Beyonce is the best version of herself. Beyonce would say, nah, I'm just getting started. I'm still working. I'm on that journey of becoming. And when Beyonce, 75 years old, and look back at, her discography and all of the things that she's done, at that point, she'll probably smile and say, yeah, this is good. But then she's going to get back on the journey of becoming the best version of herself.
We'll never know. There's some people, music artists that are still performing at, 80. And apparently they're still becoming. Yeah, they want to make money. But at the same time, they wouldn't still be doing it. They don't need to make that money. They really, right. They've attained a certain status. There's something in them that continues to drive them, whatever it may be. Even at 80, 70 something, still creating music because maybe they feel that there's something else that's going to show that they're the best version. It seems that if you're going to do any of this, you have to believe in yourself, right?
Yeah. So once you have done the work in self-awareness and you actually know yourself to the point that you actually look back and say, had I known then what I know now, I'd have done it differently.
Well, yeah, all the time. All the time.
So you discover who you really are and who you're meant to be. Yeah. At that point, do you believe that you can achieve? Do you believe that you can thrive? Do you believe that you can hit those marks, that vision in your head? Do you believe in yourself that you can win? Do you believe in yourself that you can actually surpass last year, right? So that's a whole different level of intestinal fortitude. That's that fight inside of you. That's that motivating. That's that energy that boils inside of you. But then to transform that belief into action is required. It's one thing to believe, right? Lena Horne sang that song. I'm using all of these whiz references now. but Lena Horne sang if you believe, right? Or Stephanie Mills song Home, right? So how much do you believe in yourself that you're willing to put the energy, the effort into the journey? Because it starts there. Not everybody is going to believe in you. And depending on how big your dream and your goal is, most people might not believe in you. But if you believe in you, then you're willing to put the energy and the effort and the work in to turn that belief into reality.
We're all driven by fear. Many of us like to feel comfortable. We're just wired that way. I believe it's in our DNA. How do you feel that you believe in yourself? How do you get to that point?
So, I mean, it's different for everybody. I say fear and faith can't coexist in the same place. So yes, we are driven by fear, but the opposite of fear is faith. And I think I said it in one show. My mom used to say, if you're going to worry, don't pray. If you're going to pray, don't worry. And so when it's like oil and water, you have fear and you have faith. So at some point, that fear should drive you towards your faith, because somehow you have to believe in yourself in order to move forward. And if you believe in yourself and you have faith in yourself, then that's where that energy resides. If you don't believe in yourself and you're constantly in fear, then that's what you have to work on, overcoming that fear. And in my book, I talk about you first have to overcome. And so if fear is the barrier and it's in your way, it's that brick wall, it's holding you back, then you have to put that work into overcoming that fear. And that could be coming from so many different places. But the other piece, though, is the energy that you put into faith. Some people don't even put any energy into faith because they either may not believe in it or they just don't know about it. They don't know it's a thing. And I'm not talking about, faith in a religion or thing. I mean, faith in yourself. And so if you say something, will you act? Do you believe that you can do it? So the fear piece, yeah, it's a motivator, but it's only one motivator. And if you rely on some other motivators, we talk about PQ, during the PQ phase, we talk about the sage and saboteur. So if you lean on your sage, you're never going to be successful. But if you lean on your saboteur, then you're going to find that faith to be successful. If you lean on your fear, then that's where your energy is. You're always in fear. You're always frightened. But if you lean on your faith, you gain strength and you're not afraid. It's like Invictus. You familiar with the poem Invictus?
Long time ago.
Yeah, out of the night that covers me, black is the pit from pole. So at the end of it, it says, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. So when you believe that you're the master of your fate, when you believe that you're the captain of your soul, that's a whole different level of faith in yourself. And that poem, Invictus, it basically says, I have no fear.
Let's say you know the direction you want to go in. You feel it, and it feels right. You believe in yourself, so you've hit some marks. How do you keep going? Where do you find the fuel to eventually become the best version of yourself?
Yeah. So part of the maturity piece of growth and development is having been knocked down and gotten back up, having lost and recovered, having gone through the fire and gotten burned, and you overcame that, having lost loved ones and you overcame that, maybe lost a job, filed bankruptcy, whatever. People going through it now. So it's that getting back up again. Wolf Blitzer talked about it this morning. What's the name of that song? I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Tub thumping.
Chumbawamba,
tub thumping. I get knocked down, but I get up. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
So when you have experienced that a lot, that becomes the experience of keep going, the motivator, the fortitude of, I have to just keep going. It's like climbing a mountain. Why do people do it? Because it's there. It's not easy. I climb and hike, and I tell you, when you start hitting that altitude and that height, your muscles start to, dopamine just starts kicking in and keeps you going. But that comes from experience. Most of your champions are not champions just because they're good. They're champions because they know how to get back up. So when you want to become the best version of yourself, and that's your goal, that's your end state, or you're working towards some sort of an achievement, you have to expect that you're going to get knocked down. Kind of like basketball. You don't get to walk off the field, off the court and say, hey, coach, get those 5 people out of the way and I can score all day long. Coach will look at you like you're crazy. You can go around them. You can go over them. You can go through them. They're going to kick you. They're going to bump you. They may even scratch you and bite you, but that's the way the game's played. And now you are in the game of life. And the game of life is not always pleasant. It's the way it's played. The more experience you get in those bumps and bruises, the more you are able to settle into, well, it's just the way the game is played. Football is a contact sport. So you are going to get hurt. So if you get hit in football, do you walk off the field because you got hit? No, you get back on the line and you get hit again. And the more times you get hit, the more you're able to understand how to fight through it. And that's what makes champions. Now, not everybody is going to be a champion. And that's for you to believe in yourself. If you don't believe you're a champion, it's all in the state of mind. There's a poem out there called It's All in the State of Mind. And at the end of that poem, it says, sooner or later, the one who wins is the one who thinks he can.
It seems to me, Reggie, that we need to take inventory. Take inventory of what you got, your talents, and take inventory of the things you overcame. Because until you said it, I feel a lot of us forget about it. And when you sit sit there for a few moments in your mind. Oh my God, I got through that when I was younger. I did that. I pulled that one off too. Lost a job, bounce right back. Wow. On and on and on and on and on. When you look at those, take the inventory and celebrate them in your mind, and also take stock in what I got going on, whatever it might be, my connections, whatever. I'm hypothetical here. Your resources, your mentality, being grateful for a lot of that too. It seems like that is also the fuel in your tank to help you keep moving forward to becoming the best version of yourself.
It's good to take inventory. And many times when you meditate, it's an opportunity to take inventory. Of course, I'm in the music business a little bit. And so when I'm hearing you talk, I'm thinking of Aretha Franklin in that movie Sparkle, when she said, everybody has a story about the love and the good things, but for the spices of your life, you've got to pay the price. And then she talked about take self-inventory of your woman and your glory and leave the bad things behind. So we have all succeeded in somethings, a lot of somethings. And to your point, we've overcome, we've succeeded, we've done well, we've achieved. And if you can use some of that as a self-motivating tool, you can call it arrogance, conceited, obnoxious, self-centered. You call it whatever you want, and it's all true. All of those words don't have to be negative. When people say that to me, I'm like, thank you. You missed a few.
Well, you just said the magic word, true. You can call it whatever you want, but that's the truth. Those are the facts. Somebody got through this, then they got through that, then I got through that, then I got through that. I have this talent, I have that, I can do that, on and on. Those are facts. We're not just making it up. It's the truth.
And if you use those facts and remind yourself all that you had to go through, you may not be able to conjure the experience, the energy, or the emotions that you had when you were going through it. But you remember, what it was like on one side and that you got to the other side. You know what it's like to overcome in order to become. Wash, rinse, repeat. Yep. Use your own self as a motivator. You don't, Richard Pryor say, you don't get to be old by being a fool. And so,
I'm going to meditate on that one.
And so that means you have experiences. And based on your experiences, you can use them. Don't forget about them. Don't throw them away. Don't just put them in the archive. Resurrect those experiences, even in your own mind, to help you to stay motivated to your new experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. It's part of the mix. And even as a DJ, you can't effectively do a gig unless you know what you have to work with. Oh, that song will fit perfectly. I know where it is. Pull it out, play it. And on and on and on. In the moment. So when a challenge presents itself to you in life, you know what to pull from. And maybe it's just faith and belief in a situation that's going to push on forward.
As a DJ, you have confidence that if there's, 500 plus people in front of you dancing, you're going to rock this party. You're going to own the crowd. You have the confidence and the belief in yourself based on your experience that you can do this. You've never met these people in your life, but in the moment, you're going to rise to the occasion because you believe in yourself. And that's part of the journey of becoming the best version of yourself. DJ Jazzy Jeff, right? One of my favorites. He truly is the GOAT in DJing, but he put work in. He put the work in every day. Trust me, I'm sure he screwed up a lot of mixes and then just kept at it till he got it right, and created a brand new funk. So the point that I'm saying is, when you are becoming the best version of yourself, you don't always know what the end state's going to look like. He probably never knew he was going to be the greatest DJ in the world, but he knew he was going to be better whoever in the room if he battled you. And over a period of, 40 plus years, here he is. He put the work in. And over time, he went through all of those stages. And, like Mario Brothers, he achieved the pinnacle. But I guarantee you, he's not done.
But I believe he also knew with that venue of 500 people, if he plays a song that doesn't resonate and people start dispersing, he's got the faith and the belief in himself. I'll get him back. Hold on. Figured I'd give that one a try. Right away, change it up. And
I call those the 10-second mixes. I used to, when I DJed at Leviticus International, I did that and the floor just, oh, wow. You got 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's true. when somebody
But
is saying
that's
to the other one,
experience.
yes, that's experience.
And that's not having fear.
Exactly
That's having
right.
faith that you can do this.
Yes. Because if you feel you're failing, now you're at 5 seconds and they're walking away, you know, you've already, and it's not even a situation where I'm going to go back to the old classic and that'll bring them back. It's you live in the moment, and what worked last week might not work for this crowd. It might be you're in a different vibe. You know, you're in a different genre at that moment. You can't go back old school. You got to stay where you are, but you have to have the faith in yourself.
You got to have the faith, and you got to execute on that faith, right? You got to believe in yourself, and then you got to do the doing. But yeah, and as a DJ, people don't realize it's lonely in that booth. Nobody else is doing this for it's you, and you got to keep the crowd going, every 2-3 minutes. And so that takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of intestinal fortitude. And, I was telling somebody back in the day, I DJ for 8 straight hours by myself. There was no switch off every 20 minutes or every hour. No, you got it from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. And so over time, you build that. So yeah, becoming the best version of yourself, believing in yourself, having that level of motivation is required.
You just brought back a musical memory. It was a bunch of years ago. I was emceeing as part of the radio station at a club, New Year's Eve. It is about 11:45 p.m. and they tell me the DJ that's supposed to take over for the ball drop at midnight, he's not here. He hasn't shown up yet. I'm like,
sweating.
Oh man. But guess what? I'm getting chills even thinking about it. There was no music. All I had was CDs in my car.
You gotta work with what you got.
Gotta work with what you got. Luckily, there was a traffic issue. He showed up at like 12:10, but it was my responsibility at that moment because there was nobody else. And that wasn't really my job. It was, I'm working with a radio station, and not even until midnight, but I had to pull it off. And I will tell you, it rocked me for a moment. Like, these people are paying a lot of money for New Year's Eve. But then I just focused. What song would be good at midnight? What will follow that? What will follow that? And then just,
That's a hard selection.
It was rough.
To pick the most appropriate song at midnight for this crowd that's going to be memorable for them.
With a limited selection.
As a DJ, your heart be going to do that.
God, it was the worst. It was exciting, but the worst moment. But I could close my eyes, even just talking about it. I'm there right now. I could tell you it's less. But I guess I had faith. But I'm not going to lie. It did shake me. There was a moment there.
But that's the experience of becoming the best version of yourself. You have to go through that fight. You have to go through that internal fight within yourself and overcome that. Because now, once that becomes a foundation in your toolbox, if you have to use that again, you got it.
Well, this brings a thought, and we're just about out of time, but I want to throw it to you. These experiences that you overcame, I forgot about that one until you brought it up. Losing a room. We don't want that to happen. Do you feel a lot of those experiences where you overcame are buried in our subconscious and pilot us occasionally? We don't even know, but They're there. They're floating in there.
Because there's thousands and thousands and thousands of them.
Right.
But you can conjure them back up. You can recall them. And it takes practice and training sometimes, or it just takes a heightened energy moment that just like, got seconds to figure it out.
Yeah. Or or meditation,
meditation.
To celebrate your wins. Sit with yourself and think about those things. Take the inventory like we talked about. Great talk today. Yeah. It's who doesn't want to be the best version of themselves? And if you don't, no judgment, but good for you. The rest of us, we keep moving. Got limited time here. Got work to do. How do we find you, and how do we find your book?
So all you got to do is go to www.reggibullock.com. This book is already on that website, along with some you may even see in the background. And of course, I have my own website, or you can just go to Amazon. If you go to Amazon and type Reggie Bullock or Becoming the Best Version of Yourself, it'll pop up in hard copy, soft copy, PDF, and audio version.
Awesome. Thank you so much for today. Great having you on once again. And as always, I really mean this. Look forward to getting together again.
Yes, Steve. I'll see you in New York.
You got it. All right. We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Okay, Simon, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. And what do people normally wear?
Clothes.
Exactly. So now Mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Clothes keep us warm, they look good, and if we go out without them, the neighbors will talk. So it's important to know how to get dressed. Here's how it's done. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole, or you have to start all over. If you're wearing a tie, it goes over, round, through, and pull tight. Tuck your shirt into your pants and zip up your fly. Socks going first, then shoes right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears.
I love bunnies.
Good to know. Now remember, spots don't go with stripes, socks don't go with sandals, and if you've tucked in your shirt, wear a belt. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit tumin2x.org. That's tumin2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives and the Ad Council.